Hello, folks. This is Sydney Ranee, and you're hanging with GrownFolksMusic.com.
GrownFolksMusic.com.
Well, we like to say what's happening and what's going on to all the groans out there. This is your love man who is once again opening the microphones. This is another episode of our GFM Spotlight series, and we are so excited this evening to be talking to none other than Sydney Ranee. And Groans, if you're familiar, we posted one of her great tunes. She has many. So hopefully we talk about them. She has many, but 17, great song and great visual, and really represents what is something that's really near and dear to our hearts at Grown Folks Music. Many of you all have heard the discussions that we have about what Grown Folks Music means, and the fact that there's no age at all. We don't view it at all in that manner. It's just about great music and a commitment to just putting together a great sound and songwriting. And so we definitely want to talk about that and Sydney's journey. And matter of fact, speaking of journey, Sydney,
Yes.
you were recently on tour in Asia, is that right?
I
Or
was working on a cruise ship, singing on a cruise ship.
wow, yeah.
I just got back from Singapore like a week and a half ago, and we did Japan, Vietnam, China, Thailand, and Cambodia.
Oh my word. Wow. How was the experience for you?
It was great. It was amazing being able to see that part of the world. I've been to some of those countries before,
Okay.
but there were also some new places that I've never ever seen.
Okay.
And if anyone gets a chance to travel, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely an opening of the eyes and the mind and the
Yes,
heart. And are you I know at one point or your home is Los Angeles, is that correct? Or
yes.
okay. Um we've, at least I have, over the last couple of years, I would say, or maybe even as long as a decade, I've been really amazed at this type of I like to call it maybe a renaissance of just fantastic musicians coming out from the Los Angeles area, in the worlds of jazz and R&B and
hmm
and many things. So, any particular thing from your experience that you might attribute that to?
I think because in Los Angeles, I lived in Seattle, so I can
Oh,
kind of
wonderful.
compare
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think in Los Angeles, because there's live music and live music everywhere.
Mm,
So I think it's such a huge artist community, and so many people move here
mhm,
to be an
mhm,
artist, whether it's in film or in dance or even with music.
mhm.
So I think because it's such a big artist community, we're all surrounded by great people.
Okay.
So it pushes us a little harder to, not really make floppy stuff. We all have
Mm,
to
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
be our best to
yeah.
compete with the best.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback off that sentiment, it really shows in your output in your music. And there's two things I'm thinking of where I'd like to steer the conversation. I think I'm going to start kind of in the now and then maybe work backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about because this is one of the things that struck me when I first became aware of you and your music. And of course, we alluded to it up front. With your talking about your experience on the cruise ship, and you are you're a performer.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
you have gigs. And the reason I bring that up is that I think that that's one thing that I if I had if I had my druthers, that I wish a lot more, I wish more folks would do it that way, if that makes sense.
No, I
um
completely agree.
yeah, could you could you talk a little bit about, your commitment to, the live performance world, and how, its importance to you? um
Well, yeah, I, like you said, I do feel it's very, very important because, I mean, I could sit here and produce all the music I
mhm,
want, but I
mhm,
think it's important to make a connection with your audience, to put on an experience for them.
mhm,
And whether it's me doing my original music or like cover music like I do on the cruise ships,
mhm,
I just think it's important for the audience to feel connected to the artist in some way.
mhm,
Because
mhm.
even sometimes when you see some of these artists on tour, they're kind of larger than life. You see them on the stage, but you don't know anything about them,
Mhm, mhm,
or you don't really get that one-on-one connection. And I think that's very, very important. And I try to do that with every performance that I do.
mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, I caught a few clips, and they were great. I mean, a couple in intimate settings, which sometimes as could be even more difficult than a larger venue. But
I completely agree.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just did one in San Francisco. I did So Far Sounds San Francisco,
yeah.
and I have never been more nervous in
Mm,
my life
mm-hmm,
performing for people. Because when it's a large crowd or a large venue, you're competing with so many other things.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's right.
So it's not as nerve-wracking as you are the main focus. You are the attention. They have nowhere else to look. They tell them they're not to use their phones, not to do
Oh,
anything. So 100% of the attention is focused on you.
oh wow, I love it.
And I loved it, but it scared me at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Well, yeah, that's a very special, opportunity, obviously, in especially in this environment that
Yes.
we that we kind of exist in. The second part of kind of piggybacking again is what I wanted to ask you is, could you tell us a little bit about, um your beginnings, as far as, not only in music but live performance? I mean, is this a journey that you've been on since a very young age, or did you come to it a little later? Or um yeah, yeah, just a little bit about, or a lot of bit about how you, began, this process.
Well, yes, it started at a very young age. I've been in performing arts school since I was about, let me think, it was middle school. So
Oh,
I was
wonderful.
about 10 or
Yeah.
even around that age,
Okay.
10, 11. And at that school, they really emphasized on having us do live performances.
Oh, wow.
So at
Yeah.
least, especially for the holiday seasons, we would do a lot.
Yeah.
And then I went to a performing arts high school, Los Angeles County High School of the
Oh,
Arts.
yeah. Yeah.
And my freshman year there, I was selected out of the group to sing backup for Josh Groban, and we did the Jay
Oh.
Leno show. We
Oh,
did
wow. Yeah.
a couple of other performances with him, and it was just amazing being 14 years old and singing with a pop superstar and
Yeah.
being we were in his music video as well. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was it was a really, really great experience.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. And yeah, Josh is, yeah, that's, yeah, like you said, pop superstar, and just,
Yeah, great vocalist.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was. Yeah, I mean, it's really, always wonderful when it lines up. That's not me being disparaging to anyone, but when the support and the celebrity and all that lines up with the artistry, that's a very special, place to be. And yeah, he's a very special artist, and what an opportunity. um
Thank you.
yeah. So I mean, along with singing, you play as well, is that correct?
A little bit. I'm
Uh-huh.
still learning.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where my producing comes, so a lot of the songs off of my last EP, as well as the one that's going to be released,
Yeah.
I produce myself. So what I do when I'm on the cruise ship, a lot of time I have free time. I have
Yeah.
Logic and I have my MIDI keyboard, and I
Yeah.
just kind of plug in the bass sounds as well as like the drums and the keyboards and stuff. And my boyfriend comes in and plays the guitar.
Oh, wonderful.
And because I love, love, love the sound of live instruments,
Uh-huh.
when I get home, that's when I go to the studio and re-record it with the live band.
Oh, uh, I'm just, I'm just loving that because, I saw the Akai. I said, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah, because that was very cool. So yeah, you use Logic. That's awesome.
Yes.
And when you all hit the studio, you have like a team that you all normally use, or
Yes,
okay,
yes, I do have a team I normally use.
okay,
It's just all together, there's five of us, so it's bass, drums, keys, guitar, and myself. And I mean, the product has just been amazing. And
yeah,
like I said before, there is nothing that can compare to live instruments. You know,
no,
you can have the best programs in the world,
mm-hmm.
but the sound and feel of a live guitar, a live keyboard, I mean, live piano, sorry, or, drums and bass,
Yeah,
it's a sound that I admire.
yeah, yeah. You're so right. I often tell folks. I remember one time I had to do so it was something for jazz arranging or something. But anyway, yeah, when you have like you were doing, where you have it and it's all realized and it's sequenced out or whatever, and you're listening to that, and then you take a chart and you put it in front of people, and then they play it back to you, and you hear all the overtones and other things. It's just it's just another. That's a
It's mind blowing
yeah.
compared to what Logic project
That's
is.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's so a new EP is on the horizon. And you have something.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
a new
hopefully.
song for
I
sure, but
right.
EP, I'm
Right.
working on it.
Okay. But I know a new song for sure, and a new song that will be coming out on December 12th. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So A Dangerous Woman.
yes.
Dangerous Woman. So give us a little insight into the inspiration behind A Dangerous Woman.
Well, just to be clear,
Sure.
I know Ariana Grande released one, but this one I wrote it ages ago and I
Yes.
recorded it over a year ago. So I
Ah,
just want to get that out
there
in
you
the
go.
air
Right.
because every time I say it, people are like, "Oh, the Ariana Grande tune."
Right.
But I did make this song a long, long time ago.
Wow.
But basically, the song to me is just about a woman who's just fearless
Hmm.
and a man that isn't afraid of her.
Ooh,
Because it seems a
okay.
lot of times
Yeah.
when there's a strong, powerful woman,
Mm-hmm.
or, if she's a businesswoman or whatever, it seems sometimes the males are a little intimidated by her.
Yes.
So this is kind of from her perspective saying, I'm dangerous, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm loving, and you're not afraid of it.
Hmm. Okay. I like that. I like that. And it's that's that speaks volumes that in your writing and in your concept of it, to be sensitive to both sides of that, because often sometimes, yeah, even in songs, sometimes it's just like one way, one way
Yes.
kind of conversation. And so wow, okay, okay. um let me ask you this. You're doing this all on your own. For you, how do you define, success, or what are the, what's a goal for you that would say, I mean, you're already successful. You're putting great
I'm
music into,
trying.
yeah, no, you're putting great music into the world. And to me, that's just successful. But,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. But, for you, beyond, that, or, is there, is it touring across the country doing your original music? Is it being placed in movies and television shows? what's something that you've identified that is really on your wish list of things that you'd like to see?
Well, you named both of them.
Okay.
Touring, of course.
Okay.
Domestically,
Mhm.
and I would love to do internationally because I've been so many places with the cruise ships, and I've seen so many audiences
Mhm.
from around the world, and I've gotten great feedback about my voice and
Mm.
about I've done original music sometimes on the ship too, and about that. So
Yeah.
I would love to open that up and perform in different countries as well as in the USA.
Mhm.
Um, Also TV and film, that's a big deal because that's
Mhm.
a lot of times how new listeners able to find you.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, and I would love to write for other artists too.
Oh,
I have a lot of
wonderful.
songs
Yeah.
where, they come to my mind. I don't
Mm.
think they're necessarily my style,
Okay. Right.
but
Okay.
I think they're good songs.
Mhm.
So I would like to open up and possibly write for other people too.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you for you, melody first, lyrics first, does it matter? Or
It depends. I
okay.
have two methods.
Okay.
Sometimes I start with the keys
Mm.
first,
Mhm.
and then I build around there. I put the find a drum beat, and then I build it up from there, and then I go on and write a song. Or sometimes, especially when I'm on the go and something comes to me, I'll record a sound recording on my iPhone,
Mhm.
like a melody,
Mhm.
and then when I get home, try to build a song around that. But I I think it's easier for me to do it the way with the keys and build the song first, then go in and do the melody.
Oh wow, wonderful, wonderful. And I just had a couple more for you.
Of course.
One one thing that I found. So I was doing my research, and I'm always going down different paths. So I find things. I'm good for finding things, and I have to tell you that you have covers of two of my favorite tunes, which
Oh,
yeah, they're from a while back, but you cover the Kissing Game,
yes.
which I love, which is, that's some of my favorite writers from back in the day, Teddy Riley, Bernard Bell,
Oh,
and Dave Way.
absolutely.
Yeah, that I was like, okay, all right. And an excellent job with that. And then if that wasn't enough, then you turn around and do like another one of my favorites, which is SWV Rain, which of course was a favorite because it was, was Portrait of Tracy, the Jocko tune, which I used to listen
Hmm.
to all the time in high school. And then I was like, hey, no, but yeah, but again, just a fantastic um job with those. Is that are those types of songs, excuse me, um part and partial of your musical DNA? I mean, is there a certain era that you kind of have a wellspring that you pull from, or
Um, well, definitely those songs, that era is a part of my DNA. I'm a
Mhm.
nine. Well, I was born in '89, but I'm a '90s baby, so I grew up on
Yeah,
all of those songs,
yeah,
and I love '90s R&B.
yeah.
I love the writing that went into it, the performance, and everyone could sing. Well, mostly everyone.
Yes, right. No,
Yes,
right.
everyone could sing. No one was hiding behind all of these different sound patches that they use to cover up the vocals. I mean, everyone had talent. But if
Yeah.
I had to pick an era that I think I pull from the
Hmm.
most,
Hmm.
it would have to be the 70s.
Ah,
I
okay.
love the 70s. And I think if I was born in another decade, I would totally be in the 70s making music.
It was a good era
Yes.
to be, those were my formative years. I was actually born in 70. So I got to kind of hear the
Experience all that
yeah,
great music.
yeah. And any particular artists from that era that you
Whew,
gravitate toward? I
so
mean,
many
so many,
good
yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Nile Rodgers and
Oh,
Chic, everything that they did.
yeah.
Donna Summer.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I love Shaka Khan when she did like kind of like well, that's leading into the 80s. So 70s and 80s
Right.
because Prince is another huge influence for me.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
I just love that whole vibe.
Yeah. I mean, we're fortunate here. We do a whole series of and it really picked up this year. We do a series of Prince podcasts where we focus on albums, that are
Oh,
celebrating. Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome.
And
And there's
we
so many great albums that people forget about.
oh
That's
yeah.
one of my pet peeves is when he passed away, every singer is covering Purple Rain. I'm like, it's
Right.
a great song,
Yeah.
but he has so many other
Oh yeah.
songs,
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds. I was like,
Uh-huh.
let's get a little creative, folks.
That's right. You got to dig deep, dig
You have
deeper.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I did a cover of his tune "Call My Name," but even
Oh
when I
yes.
perform
Uh-huh.
with my duo, we do "Kiss," we do "Feel for You,"
Oh
and
yeah.
that's a song that he wrote for Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
But I love his version as well.
Oh, that's
So
yeah, that's funky is all outdoors. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
the synth solo and, just all that stuff is just yeah. Yeah, he was just so special. And
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. 70. Yeah, I hear it. And you have what I really appreciate about your style and your performance live and on recordings is that you really have a great command of the vocal instrument. And I mean that just speaks to your training and
Hmm.
your performance, but you know where to place the notes. And it's that's a skill. That's a real skill. So.
I think I would credit that too, because a lot of singers, especially singers nowadays, they're all about singing.
Mm.
They don't listen to what's going on in the music behind them.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
So I try to, when I sing, if the guitar plays like a riff that I like, try to play off of that, or if the
Mhm.
drum plays a different feel, kind of ride behind the beat a little bit to add some character to it.
Yeah.
Because if I would play some of the songs like 17 that I did on Logic compared to the live performance, I switched up the phrasing just a little bit because the live band, they went and added their magic.
Ah, right.
And I just had to play off of that.
Oh, I love it. See, that's see, this is so good because that this is like what we again are about as far as the whole grown folks concept, which is just when you talk about good and great music, it's you know that ability to shift and not to keep things in a box and so
Hmm.
lockstep. Like you said, you're hearing your opening, or what we used to talk about in playing, ensembles, listening down the section, what's going on and who's going where.
Who's
And
doing what?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
I think it's really important.
Yeah,
And I hate sometimes, and I hate to say that, say the word hate,
right,
but
right, right.
it does drive me crazy when I see a singer and they may be really, really good and they sing the song exactly how it was in the record. There's no room for, improvisation
Hmm.
or, you don't let the instruments solo so they can be able to speak a little bit. I
Hmm.
think that's where the magic happens, especially on stage,
Yes,
because
yes.
okay, yes, we're covering this song, but now let's put our own spice, our own feel on it and make it ours.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You must have been eavesdropping on a conversation I had last week because I was lamenting about one of the groups I play in, and I was saying, yeah, great at playing records, but live we're not playing records. So you
Hmm.
have to, yeah, it's like you got to get out of that locked in 3 minutes and 30-second
You
vibe.
have to.
Yeah,
You have to.
yeah,
I know that's what the radio taught you, the standard
right,
length for a
right,
song,
right,
but it's not the truth. It
right.
is not the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's, I keep on referencing 17 because my original Logic recording of it was only 3 minutes and probably 4 seconds, and
Ah,
it almost came out to 5 minutes long. And
uh-huh.
there's one section on the end that I completely added as soon as the musicians were done recording. The
Wow.
one part that's like, "Don't worry, baby, don't worry, darling."
Yeah.
That was just completely on the spot
Oh,
because
wow.
they kept on looping it, and I'm like, okay, I can't cut this. I just
Right.
have to
Right.
find something else to write over that.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Um, can you tell us, as far as, keeping up with your journey and, places that you hang out online, where are the best places to keep up with Sydney Renee?
I think I'm most active on Instagram,
Okay.
which is Sydney,
Mm,
Sydney Ranee.
okay.
There's another girl that has the same name as me and that does music, but I'm the real one.
There you go. That's right.
I'm also on Facebook, facebook.com/Sid Renee, SYDRANEE. I'm on YouTube as well, Sydney Renee, and a lot of times Facebook and Instagram don't let me add the apostrophe at the end of my
All
name.
right.
That's really how my name is spelled. So
Oh,
Sydney
wonderful.
Ranee with the apostrophe at the end.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. We'll make sure, and everyone listening, make sure that you follow Sydney Renee. And again, from me here, you really, 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 really do represent, what our core values are, as far as, just creating great and timeless music, and getting out there in front of the people,
Mm-hmm.
getting out there. That's, like we talked about. I mean, I just think it's so important, because we all can, we can spend so many hours a day looking at screens, and sometimes we don't look at each other. And so
Yeah.
it's good to, to go out and to experience music, how it should be experienced.
I
So
completely agree. It's
yeah.
important to have that face-to-face
Yeah.
contact.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Well, Sydney Renee, this is the GFM Spotlight interview, and we are so glad that you took the time out to join us this evening.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
this is a pleasure, and I will say this. Um, our commitment here at Grown Folks is, that we're not, a site that likes to do the one and done. So we are here to support you, in whatever you do, and
Thank you
we're
so much.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, we just folks that we vibe with. We just have to get behind and support. And we really feel that way about your work and what you're doing, and looking forward to the 12th. And
Yay!
yeah, looking forward to another release into the world. That's always a beautiful thing.
It is.
GrownFolksMusic.com